Okay. Albert's Voice Tech. Okay. So, I'm sure a lot of you must realize that in most routers, there's a DNS setting. By default, the router, depending on, you know, if you're using Google Cloud, it's going to reflect 8.8.8.8, secondary 8.8.4.4. You don't use that. Now, Google servers tend to be slower. Now, if you're paying for 1200 megabytes down like I am, and you're only getting like 400, 300, 200, and you blame the ISP, it could be, yeah, the DNS servers. So here we got a couple. There is a program that you can download. I think it's from Gibson. Gip, Gip, G, Gip, Gibson. It's Gibson. I think it's DNS something. I think it's Gibson. There's an app that you can download, domain speed benchmarks, and you would run that on your network or your on your domain, and it will tell you which DNS to set your router to. And here it is. It's still around. I don't want to list any ones because that's what people can find you. But I'm just saying that you can find one that will serve your needs. Let's see, how do you download this again? Okay, it's downloading. It's called DNS Benchmark Exact. I won't be able to run it on my machine, but just to let you know, well, I have to play around with it first, but make sure because I don't want nobody to know what I'm using. But if you don't want to use this, which is good, you run it on your machine on your computer, then you will get an idea what works. You have Google, it's slow. Your ISP, whoever is your ISP, that's Internet Service Provider, it's gonna be slow. Yeah. There's a lot of them here. OpenDNS, Cloudflare. You should have IP version. Well, if you disable the fours, legacy is old, six is faster, but it depends on your ISP. So basically, here it is here. So you would, when you go into your router, you see primary DNS server, and secondary server. It'd be on automatic. You want to change it to custom. You have to have these for the IP6. Say Google can achieve fast speeds with public domain service because it's hosted by data center. But there's ads and stuff like that, and then you got Quad, then you got OpenDNS, you got Cloudflare, and you got free DNS service. So these are the settings. Very easy to do, but you have to make sure you have a router that you can get in there and change the settings. Here's some more. But best advice is to get the Gibson program here. It's grc.com. And it's not using it. And pick out the best one. You want to get the best way with this is the fastest one you want. That's the best thing on this because it runs very quickly. Because I just ran a speed test on mine. And I'm saying to myself, how am I getting 200? I'm paying for 12. I know, okay, so legacy, you're not going to get the 1200 down as a promise. You're going to get If you can get between 600 and 700, that's good, because that's the most you're gonna get. Because a gig gives you 600. Okay, so 500 to 600, that's good. That's you're in the right range. If you get below that, then you're paying, you're wasting money. Sometimes it's the ISP. Sometimes they have to come around and upgrade the outside, like they did with mine. I was out a couple of times. They went out there and they upgraded the box. Make sure they put the cover back on, because they'll like to leave the cover. They use third party. It's not going to be the ISP out there. It's going to be contractors, and they don't care. You got to make sure they lock the box back and put the wires in and keep it neat. There's very sloppiness. The wires hanging around all over the place. You got to watch them. That's my advice. If you're home, or if you're in a building, you might not care. But like I'm saying, is that if you want to speed up the internet, that's just one. I posted a video. Here it is. Test Realtek setting. I might change that. I think I did change it. Let me reload. Everything I put up here has a lot of information. I might give you more information. That's because some guys, they just focus on the one subject, but sometimes other subjects focus in together. Now, by changing my DNS, everything else in the house is going to change too. The best thing to do when you change your DNS setting is to reboot the router.
Here we go.
Reboot your switch and reboot your modem.
Now,
because everything's going to change. But
the other laptop that
I changed mine. I picked one of these DNS settings.
I'm running
up to 636 megabytes down and 38 megabytes up. Sometimes I get more than 38. Sometimes I get 56, 53. But I went outside and I changed my well, it's my house.
Quick CPU.
So I went out to the box.
So when you boot up this laptop, this is running Windows 11.
And
these
cable
system. This is a laptop that is not.
So it would be CAT provider. I took all those wires out.
Sanctioned.
And I rewired them. And I had my own box outside. So if you went out there, there's
under
two
the
boxes.
Compliance rules to run Windows 11.
One box is mine. I got that off.
Yeah.
I actually ordered that off.
Anyway, that's not important right now.
Inside there's a 8-way power distributor.
This is a 1.7.
It's 8-way distributor. The distributor is the power. So whatever signal going into it, and you have 8
Intel
devices or 8 TVs in your house.
Celeron. Celeron means
it will get the same signal,
no release,
and whoever is watching
CPU.
TV or whatever it is
That's
they're
what
doing,
I learned from an Intel
won't deteriorate. It would have the same
These
power.
were chips that
lasts a long time.
failed.
I have that out there since 2012.
So it's basically it's an i3.
And that's power over coax.
See if I can get this
to
work.
Okay, so that would be POC, power over coax. So it gets its electrical power from coaxial. So you would have to make a cable for that. And it has the adapter, how that would work.
So
and that connects
with quick
from the
CPU,
box using coaxial
you can see it.
cable.
I know we should run the screen capture program, but
Ultra 6. I forget.
That takes a lot of system resources. And you don't get an accurate reading for quick CPU because it's going to pick up
it. That's what I told them when they came here.
So right now this is running
2 hours. They removed all the old
1.3%.
cables. And put new stuff. There's a big improvement when you do it.
Utilization.
You want to get 4K TV, you want to get high-speed internet, there's a whole bunch of... They put the new...
And that's the thing.
Well, they call it
gotta keep an eye on that and see, because if that's running, what is running in the background? What doesn't...
How about your house?
What doesn't it... What under Windows 11? Because everybody's saying Windows 11 is slow.
Partly upgraded to Cat 6. So from
what's
the
running in the
modem...
background? What is allocating so much of the CPU in the background? This is a good program to diagnose that. It's not going to really tell you. Then you need Wise 365.
I ran a test on
has some
that
cool
to see if
features
there's any
in that program.
Now you got to be careful now because there's some cheap
because with that program,
that does not have little plastic insert.
Can you see that
isolate the wires,
okay.
so you'd have.
With that program here, if you go under System Tune-Up, it'll automatically detect things that should be turned off. Like for instance, every time
so you want that. So you gotta be careful though. And those cables that
Windows
look like twisted,
updates,
okay, so you want Cat 6 cable.
It goes and
it Cat 6 or higher.
I don't know,
somehow costs money.
It makes the system run slow. So they have a good optimization of items that can speed up your system. Once you run that,
you have Ethernet. You
can go into the startup menu.
That's power over Ethernet.
And see what really needs to start up.
And your ceiling.
And it can also detect it automatically and hit optimize. But you can go one step further and disable some stuff.
It'll have power.
For instance, Google Chrome Auto Launcher. Do we really need that to load?
Junction box, and then you would hook up
you can disable that.
In. So one wire would plug into it, and the other wire would go back into the switch. You see, if your switch
and this laptop, it gets really hot because I'm running it at full power.
Okay.
But I also have saver on it, so it can shut off.
Now, 636
so it's running
down,
full power, but plus we're saving energy by having it turn off the screen.
There should be no bottleneck on the ISP.
Some of these laptops, they don't wake up if you shut down. I know we're not using mechanical hard drive.
There's some bottlenecks there.
And sometimes it's better to turn off.
So again,
I've been at this for
years,
always trying to improve.
You can play.
Back in the DOS days, we're always trying to improve the available memory available.
And see which one works.
So today, a lot of people are worried about the system overall speed. You can have a lot of RAM in these things, and
that's one way of doing it. Okay, thanks again for watching.
Slow.
Don't forget to subscribe to the
certain
channel.
things have to be run like system health.
Okay.
But if you have
make sure you get a good router,
touchpad,
dual
software
core,
that needs to
quad
run,
core, whatever it is, enough RAM in there. Don't be skimpy. Get something
so when this system runs now,
Wi-Fi does degrade
CPU
after
runs,
so many years.
And we keep the scheme that we have set up. I want full power.
The rule is to get a wired router.
I'm not
dual core,
using this
quad
portable.
core, whatever
this
it
is
is
not
you want to
going
get.
Outside. This is staying on the desk. This will be like
dual wang, whatever you want.
It's getting old, and
then you have access points on the ceiling. Because if you go into a business,
I'm not going to invest too much into this. This is already running.
They should
I upgraded it to 8 gig of RAM. They also changed out
one multi-million-dollar company got
802.11
access
and
point
put
on the ceiling
802.11 AC.
Made by Cisco. One in the whole office. It does the whole. I ran.
Okay, we also got rid of
myself and another gentleman. I took my
the internal hard drive for an SSD.
Put it on the Wi-Fi analyzer, and I analyzed and
a couple improvements.
Signal strength was strong throughout the whole building with one. So whatever is in that access point on the ceiling
this
is very
processor can
strong.
do 4K, but
otherwise you'd have to get small, a couple of small ones. They
you're kind of pushing it
5 feet apart.
And that's the little drawback.
Well, it depends how many they're gonna put.
All right, so I already have this all configured.
The old way you would have one on the ceiling, then you would count. I think I
so
told
this
me
gives you a little idea. And over here we have the gateway.
5 feet, depending on how big of the room it is.
Now I set up the gateway just like this gateway. This gateway is made by Acer.
And if they go bad, you replace them. It's cheaper.
Is not made by Acer. It's made by a third party.
So think about getting access point with power over
GPN or whatever it's
whatever they call themselves. If you want a Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 5, that's the way to go. And those they have beamforming.
Okay, it should come
better setup.
Okay, it came on.
Okay, but you need at least 2 of them. Then they also, before I go, they got a Wi-Fi controller.
I'm gonna pause the video and log into it.
It has power over Ethernet too.
Okay.
So
this is running Windows 11 Home Insider Preview.
The
evaluation build. This evaluation build now has search web URL built on the screen. I guess Microsoft think it's easier that way. To me, it's annoying. They're trying to make it more like
it's supposed to be better for the Wi-Fi.
Google
I personally haven't tried that.
When they have it built on the screen.
When it first came out,
I don't really need it that way. I just press on my buttons.
And I would like to get.
Okay. Same thing with this one.
But
we are also running.
If you're really serious about your home networking,
quick CPU.
That's what you should do. If you got your business, small business, whatever you got, you might want to think about doing all that. If you have any questions, ask me. I have a lot of answers.
Okay, utilization here.
Somebody might know better than the other person. Somebody might know better than we all have.
Should not be anything else running in the background. It's dropping down to 12.
On the field.
It tells you Core 1, 54% of the core is being used. Core 2, 45% of the core is used.
They don't have it.
Now this is dual core. This is dual core. This processor and the gateway, the Neuron one,
senior engineer, they don't have no
is
especially the older ones.
I don't know. I'm comparing the both of them. They're both dual core.
Done because a lot of
this is a 2012. This is a 2021.
Guys who didn't know what they're talking about. But anyway,
the processor is set at 1.0
all right, I gotta go.
gigahertz, but really the processor can go as high as 2.669 gigahertz. And that's what I have it. I have it. I'm running at full blast, high powered.
Oh, there we go.
But I